I didn't expect to live up to this time because from the time I came back from overseas, I've gone through serious ailments, BP, stomach ulcer. The doctor told me that by 60-something years I'll be dead. So this is a surprise God has given to me.
Very Reverend Brother Thomas Chidi Ezeakku is 80, going on to 81. The weather is clement. Ejonoba is happy. Most Reverend Professor Godfrey Webikona, the Catholic Bishop of Nsukka Diocese, led other Reverend Fathers in this Holy Mass in honor of Very Reverend Brother Thomas Chidi Ezeakku. Brother Thomas Ezeakku is a native of Umugoji, Ejonoba, Nsukka, Enugu State. He's celebrating 50 years of being a Marist brother.
I feel fulfilled because I see myself that I would have been languishing in hell. I could have even died before this time. I'm proud to be a brother. If I go to heaven and see Marist brothers, I won't stay with anybody, not even with my family. I love them.
The Marist Brothers of the Schools is a congregation of Catholic men founded by Saint Marcelin Champagne over 200 years ago. This religious body is in 76 countries. The Marist Brothers have 3 notes on their cords, which signifies the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience which each brother makes. Late Chief John and Lolo Josephine Ezeakku lived in Nsukka town with their first child, Thomas, and his 12 siblings.
This room belonged to our late father, and that was his bed. He called this place safe. His typewriter, his hand printing machine. He was a petition writer. He wrote land agreements for people. Our mother's room, she was a petty trader. The food store. The adjoining room belonged to late Michael. This was Br.Thomas' room. As the first son, he had to stay in the main building. So when he come back from Washington Grammar School, Onisha, because that was the place he did his secondary school. From this room, he always taught us a lot of subjects, fine art, even Latin and the rest of them, mathematics. This building housed a mass room. That was my own room. This one was Charlie's room. Then a tenant occupied that place, an artist. In those days, some of our siblings, junior ones, were not born. Even the younger ones, they had to stay with our mother inside the main building.
Attending his first profession of religious vows at Uturu 50 years ago was a bittersweet experience for the family.
I went with my parents, with my dad and my mom. When they were leaving from Uturu, Br.Thomas requested that I had to stay back with him. I still remember how he cried when I was leaving him. So I was small and there was nothing I could do. The only thing I knew was that Br.Thomas was leaving me.
Brother Thomas obtained a diploma in theology from St. Paul's University, Ottawa. Afterwards, he studied economics and political science at Carleton University, also in Canada. He was appointed the first administrator of Hopeville Rehabilitation Center, Uturu. He established Franco-Commercial Institute, the first secondary school in Uturu that was open to all youths. He also established Franco-Commercial Football Club and Marist Institute of Management. 38 years ago, Marist Comprehensive Academy was established.
What was significant in the school that I started, I have 2 things in mind up to today. I wanted every student to be self-reliant, self-employed, and then I wanted every person to go to heaven.
He nudged the authorities into establishing Marist Cottage Hospital. Brother Thomas led the Marist Brothers of the Schools to Onuweke Ezeakku in Ebonyi State.
We went to the remotest place according to our superior, Br. Hyacinth Okoro, because those people are deprived. So you must go and look for people who are deprived. So when we went there, we started the farm, but everything we planted there were riddled, wiped out. And the brother said that that place must be closed. We sat here in the council to debate it from 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and everybody was saying we can't stay there, we must go. And Brother Christopher Nwasanya was the youngest. He came back from overseas. He didn't know what was. He asked him, "Why do you want to live there? Have you saved people there? Do you go there for money?" And Brother Fabian said, "Okay, let us continue meeting. Let them be teaching catechism." So immediately after that, I told him that he would take me to Brother Fabian, who was the provincial. But immediately we finished, the young man, he drove out. And I called on Brother Andrew Wagu, one of the elder people who went overseas, and told him, "Can you take me to Brother Fabian?" He said, "Yes." So when he said that, he took me to brother in this upstairs. You are looking at this one, that construction. I met him. He was writing. He said, "Excuse me." He said, "Yes." I said, "I want to speak." He said, "Well, yes." When I said, "I want to discuss about Ezeakku," he dropped his pen. So what? He said, "I came to ask you whether you can give me the permission to go to Ezeakku to see whether I can revive it." And he said, "What? Repeat." I repeated what I said. Then he dropped his pen and started thanking our Blessed Virgin Mary. He's dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary. After thanking our Blessed Virgin Mary, he didn't refer to the council again. He told me, "Go ahead."
Today, the Marist brothers have nursery, primary, and secondary schools here. Very Reverend Br.Thomas Ezeakku is the founder of Marist Daughters of Jesus the Good Shepherd.
I was in one community in Massachusetts which was sold, and I was invited from Canada to come and help evacuate the property. One day when I was evacuating the place, I had a dream. And in a dream, I found myself in an endless desert. And in that desert, there was nobody except myself and somebody who was standing behind me. And when he was telling me, he said, he raised his hand over my right hand shoulder and pointed to the desert and told me, "You must put life into this desert." So when I came back, I didn't want to go into it. I got up, it was 1 o'clock when I got up. And I wrote down what I was told. But after writing it down, after 2 or 3 days, I burnt the papers that I wrote what I wrote. I said, "I don't want to go with it." When I came back to Nigeria, the urge was still going on, and I went to Ohum Monastery for 6 years, trying to block it. And when I finished, I was suffering from ulcer and hypertension, and I came, according to the rule, that if you are worried about something, you must tell your superior about what you are suffering. I went and reported what I was suffering. And he asked me about the paper. I said, I burnt it. He said, then, our superior is coming from overseas, late Reverend Brother Charles Howard. And Brother Charles Howard came, had an interview with me, and from there, he told me to write down what happened that night. I wrote it. I wrote what happened and submitted. And that's how I started the Marist Daughters of Jesus the Good Shepherd.
30 ladies have answered the call of God in this 18-years-old congregation, and they've established 3 secondary schools in Kogi and Oba.
He's a great missionary and a man that's available for the mission, no matter how rugged or tough the place may be.
In 2017, Brother Thomas retired from active service. His family, whom he left more than 5 decades ago, organized this celebration for him. It started with a holy mass.
A reading from the prophet Isaiah. Let me sing the praises of the Lord's goodness and of his marvelous deeds.
They will speak of your terrible deeds, recount your greatness and might.
Bear with one another. Forgive each other as soon as a quarrel begins. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
We ask you to shower your blessings on Br.Thomas. Please give him the grace to persevere faithfully to the end. We pray, O Lord.
The Bishop of Nsukka Diocese talked glowingly about Brother.
Focused, hardworking, passionate, and he's very knowledgeable, very educated. Still humble in all that, simple, unassuming, a religious brother to the core.
Br.Thomas Ezeakku is a founding principal of Marist Comprehensive Academy, Uturu, a position he held for 16 years. His ex-students regard him as a father, disciplinarian, and mentor.
Br.Thomas came to me and insisted that I should go to school. As an apprentice, you are a blessing to humanity. We left all the way from Port Harcourt to make sure by God's grace we came here today, and we are here. This is the Vice President, Port Harcourt chapter of the Old Students Association of Marist.
Class of 92 gave me a portrait.
Everybody here, listen to him, mothers and fathers. Your children must be like these children here. If your children are like these people here, you will rejoice on earth.
I have it on good authority that other sects wished him well. Dr. Frank Ugu, the chairman of Udenu local government area, came with friends and other indigenes of Oba to rejoice with the man of God. The Marist brothers of the schools and their students were part of the celebration. The Marist daughters of Jesus the Good Shepherd and their students made presentations. Late Chief and Mrs. Ezeakku raised a close-knit family, and they've remained so till date.
Br.Thomas is just everything for us. He fathered us, he taught us a lot of things, he was carrying us.
Brother is kind-hearted. Coming to something that concerns brother, sister, he's good at that. Anything that concerns education, discipline, he doesn't take it lying just like that.
I know we have our father and our mother who actually trained him on how to discipline himself. He now disciplined us. Even till this moment, he's still coordinating, he's still organizing us. He's still the pivot on which the peace of our family is revolving.
Br.Thomas is a very kind person who does not bother what you feel for as long as he feels he's doing the right thing for you. He's a disciplinarian, and we were, all close to knowing him as a father right from the outset.
He's a big brother, he's a confidant, he's a friend, he's a disciplinarian, always standing out for justice, always ensuring that we do not derail from what we are supposed to do.
He's more of a father to me. We are so lucky to have him, and for me as a person, it looked like having, two fathers. He was no longer at home when I was growing up, but the consciousness of him being somewhere and sometimes showing up, the joy and excitement that comes when he shows up, it kind of gives me what many kids around me didn't have, because I know that this one is mine. Whenever he shows up, he takes you in and tries to find out what's going on with you and gives you that insight and hope for something beyond your immediate environment as a young child.
He really loved me so much. He used to visit me in school. He bought all sorts of things. Once I said that I need something like this, he would just provide it for me. Even now, I'm working. He also caring for me, calling me on phone almost all the time.
He's someone I would describe as unique in the family, because
He tends to have very unique relationship with everybody. My relationship with him gets better every day. He left for Canada when I was very little for studies. I always had the story of Brother Thomas, but I never knew him. Then he came back to Nigeria, big celebration, a lot of expectations. And then for people like us, very young kids, a brother coming back from Canada meant so much. But he just came back with a rosary and holy pictures, and was like, wow. He's very loving. He guides you and sometimes bullies you into doing the right thing. He doesn't care how he gets you to do it, but you just have to be on the right path.
When Br.Thomas was leaving for Canada, that was around the time I came into this world, and he insisted that I bear the same name that he bears, more like I was a replacement for him in the family. As far as I know, Br.Thomas is my conscience, because growing up, everything I knew as a child and all the process of making me into what I am today had a lot to do with his mentorship.
Now he's our father, he's my senior brother, he's a friend. He came back home one day and told my mom that he wouldn't want me to go to Queen's College, he would want me to stay with him so that he will be able to take care of me and so on. When I finally came to the school, it was not that rosy. I'm always entering his trouble. There was a time I was crying, opting to change school. My father said, no, I have to go back. But thank God that I went through Marist. I went through Brother Thomas, in fact. He mentored me. He made me who I am today.
Brothers and sisters-in-law have a deep respect for him.
He's hospitable. He's very intelligent. I just want to sum him up in these brief words. So, Brother Thomas, is humane. He's not arrogant. He is humility personified, and he is ageless.
Brother Thomas had been the model in the family. Others had to emulate. If you ask me, I would tell you that the Ezeakku family became what they are, principally because of the role played by Brother Thomas. Although my father-in-law, my mother-in-law were disciplinarians who brought up their children in the fear of God, if they hadn't brought up Brother Thomas the way they did, he in turn wouldn't have been able to bring up his siblings.
He's a very natural person, natural to the core. He is this type of brother that will always come out to show himself to you the way he is from the onset. He has no hidden agenda when it comes to his character. He's a very simple person.
Yes, he was slightly my senior in the school, but Brother Thomas was my childhood friend. Brother Thomas will come because he's very pranky. You'll be doing something, you don't know that Brother Thomas is around, he will just come and pinch you. And when you look back and see Brother, my God, why are you pinching me? He will start, and it's so fast that before you know it, he's gone back to where you can't see him, he's gone back to their house. He's somebody I love to stay with, because when I stay with him, he calls me to order. He may not say it, but looking at his life, looking at those things that he cherishes, they become big challenges to me, that this is the same person I grew up with, that has gone to this height in his religiosity, in his spiritual life. If he can do that, why not me?
It's a privilege for me to discuss about Brother Thomas. He's one man that I love so much. He's somebody that is well respected in the family. He's one man that brings the whole family together. If Brother Thomas is here now, everybody sits up. We have to pray, we have to do all that we are supposed to do. And he's one person that, not just in the family, the community respects him. People look up to him.
Brother Thomas is not just a brother-in-law to me. He's like a father. I look up to him so much. Whenever I'm around him, I feel so happy. He'll encourage you. There's something he always says, like, whatever you're doing on earth and you don't make heaven, you've lost it. And that word alone is just in my head. And then He doesn't take side.
The moment I came into the family, I just began to hear Br.Thomas, and I was eager to meet him. And when I met him, I realized, oh yes, this is somebody that must be talked about really. More so with some of the things I've seen him do in that profession that he finds himself.
St. Mary's Parish Choir Oba did a special number for him. "50 years as a Marist brother has been an eventful journey for Brother Thomas. No regrets," he says.
It was not easy because I knew I wasn't going to go back again, and that is why I gave my name to one of my brothers who is a medical doctor to keep my name and keep the memory. That's the link I had with my home.
The relationship was even more cemented when he left us because we know that he was there to serve God and at the same time stand in the gap for us because he's a man of prayer.
16th November 2019, Brother Thomas will be 81 years old.
JESUS. I would want brother to stay longer and do more work for us and to other people. He's a charitable man.
He's going to celebrate his centenary and we will all be alive to celebrate it with him by the special grace of God.
His father left this inheritance for him. Very Reverend Brother Thomas Ezeakku, a true servant of God, continues to leave footprints on the sands of time. This is his earnest wish.
Anybody who is doing anything, I want the person to do it efficiently and serve God in it. So that when he goes to God, he'll be rewarded. And that reward is forever and ever. If he misses it, it's hell forever and ever.